Hey, folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Tuesday, February 11th. Fellas, if you haven't figured out a plan for Valentine's Day yet, get on that. Just a fair warning here. It is rapidly approaching. Today, I have a lot of questions from you guys about the Steelers defense as it compares to the Eagles defense and whether the Steelers should be cribbing, borrowing, doing this while somebody else is taking the test, taking a look at some of the things the Eagles have done on defense and seeing if schematically they would be a better fit than what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing. So I've actually got 3 questions about this in the last 24 hours. So we're going to read the questions first, and then we're going to kind of go over what I think the answer to this is. They're not all the same questions. They're all kind of – so Jeff, is it Jeff Rossi or Jeff Rossi? Because most people, I think, would pronounce Rossi Rossi, but our guy, Brandon Rossi, who does the voiceover for Steelers Afternoon Drive, pronounces it Rossi. So you'll have to let us know, Jeff. Philly totally validated not just the team-building philosophy of the Steelers, but Tomlin's coaching scheme. That was the most basic defensive game plan imaginable, and a game plan that Tomlin runs, zone coverage with a 4-man rush. The difference is Philly has the corners to shut down the quick passing game and make that work. The Steelers don't need new coaching. They need elite corners. All right. Then we have this guy, 5, who says, between Julian Edelman's statements on how predictable and ineffective Tomlin's defense being and watching the Eagles defense dominate last night with 2 rookies on it, that's Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean at cornerback, do you think Tomlin would ever consider moving to a 4-3 defensive scheme? And then the third one is also similar on that same vein to moving to a 4-3. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, Jeff Hewitt says, what's the argument for not going back to the 4-3? Would we really need another Shazier in that scheme? So lots of good questions here. And I think probably from a good place, but when you're looking at the Super Bowl, the Eagles playing Kansas City, and when you look at the Steelers play Kansas City on Christmas Day, the defensive personnel structure in terms of the number and the kinds of players that are on the field is basically identical. Yes, the Steelers play a 3-4 base, but when the Steelers go to nickel, they play a 4-2 nickel. Some people call it a 2-4, but let's be real. Those, when was the last time you saw TJ Watt or Alex Highsmith drop in nickel? They don't, almost ever. They're rushing 100% of the time. Yeah, they may be standing up, but they're basically defensive ends. And the Eagles actually do run odd fronts. Like they run, their base defense isn't that dissimilar to the Steelers either. They run some 3-4. They run some 4-4. I will say that the Eagles run more defense than the Steelers, certainly. But they don't, it's not like a traditional 4-3. It's actually very similar to the Steelers. But just look at the snap counts against the Chiefs, right? So for the Eagles, 52 defensive snaps for Quinyon Mitchell, 47 for Darius Slay, 47 for Cooper DeJean. And the only difference there is that some guys got taken out in garbage time. So almost 100% of the time, 3 cornerbacks on the field for the Eagles. For the Steelers against the Chiefs, it was Corey Trice, 37 snaps, Dante Jackson, 57 snaps. Remember, no Joey Porter in this one. And Cameron Sutton, 42 defensive snaps. So almost always 3 cornerbacks on the field, basically the whole time. And the only reason Trice wasn't higher is because James Pierre actually started the game and he got 13. So you combine Pierre and Trice and you get a whole nother. So basically, both teams played nickel most of the time. The Eagles maybe played a little bit more dime. I think they also got the Chiefs in a little bit more third and long. So 2 linebackers, right? So the Steelers had Landon Roberts play 50 snaps, Patrick Queen Bay 56. The Eagles had Oren Burks play 52, and Zach Vaughn played 36. They do have Nolan Smith, who's an edge who sometimes play inside for them. Could pick up some of that, as well as, just like I said, playing a little bit more dime. They were up big, so it was like prevent defense kind of thing. So basically, you look at the structure, and there are 3 cornerbacks and 2 linebackers on the field almost all the game for both teams. So it's 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, 3 corners, 2 safeties. The differences are here, okay? When you look at the way the Eagles align their safeties, I'm going by PFF's tracking here. PFF breaks down basically free safeties who are off the ball, and then box safeties and linebackers who they kind of just jumble together. And those are players, 3 to 5 yards from the line of scrimmage in the inside of the formation. So the Eagles safeties, Reed Blankenship and CJ Gardner-Johnson, 47 snaps off ball and 45 snaps off ball. The Steelers had Minkah 31 snaps off ball and KZ 15 snaps off ball, but no one else. Almost all of Deshaun Elliott's snaps were in the box. So the Steelers were playing cover 1, cover 3, which means single high safety, Elliott in the box, either covering Kelsey or covering the running back out of the backfield or blitzing or whatever. The Eagles played cover 2. 2 safeties high, or quarters, which is just a cover 2 with different rules, basically. Still have the same people in zone coverage, just a little bit different. Maybe someday I'll explain quarters. It's fun defense. So what does that do? Well, the Steelers were in a position to be better against the run. And as we know, the Chiefs don't really care if they run or not. So I feel like the Steelers did not adapt their scheme to the opponent as well as the Eagles did. The Eagles seemed to pretty perfectly match their scheme to what the Chiefs' intentions were. But they're only rushing 4. They're not blitzing. They're not doing anything crazy. They're not doing anything from a game plan perspective. Mostly similar. The difference was the Eagles played all cover 2 or in cover 4 or 6, which is you're playing 2 on one side of the field and 4 on the other. And the Steelers are all in cover 1, cover 3, meaning they have less deep help. It's easier for a guy like Worthy to stretch the field. And it's interesting that the one comment that came in to trust the corners because you can play 2-man, you can play 2 high with man underneath, but I don't really think the Eagles. I think these guys are playing zone and reading the ball, and so I don't think the Steelers trust their corners as much as the Eagles, and I don't think they really should. But I think playing cover 3 is more about, like, to me, the Steelers are too focused on stopping the run against a team that does not want to run the ball at all. And that's the reason for the difference in so it's not about 3-4-4-3. They're all in 4-man front nickel, basically the whole game. It's not about blitzing because neither team really blitzed Patrick Mahomes very much, and you'd be crazy to. That's like I know one of the things that a lot of people have said about the Steelers defense this year is like, oh, they don't blitz enough. They used to be more aggressive, and I want to go back to Blitzburg and Dick LeBeau. And it's like, yeah, those those days are over. Like it's way too easy for teams against the blitz. Like you don't really want to blitz Patrick Mahomes. Nobody does, and certainly nobody does successfully. It's just not a good idea. Patrick Mahomes, and a lot of other good quarterbacks will just dice apart a blitz, especially ones with really good weapons. Now, Worthy and Kelsey, and he's got a couple, but it's just not a good idea. So yeah, the Eagles kind of showed you the way. The big difference was the cover 2, and then their ability to get pressure with 4. And it's interesting, the Chiefs did not chip any of the Eagles' edge rushers. And the Eagles don't have a star edge rusher. I mean, with a lot of respect to those guys, they have a rotation. They just bring guys through. Brandon Graham is like my age practically. You got Jalex Hunt, a young guy, up and coming, but certainly nobody's. Taya Smith, who plays a little bit of both. Josh Sweat, like, sure, these are good players, but there's no TJ Watt. There's no guy that they're going to game plan against. And they just they put 5 guys into the pattern. Like, they did not chip very much. And the Eagles got pressure 4 on 5 over and over and over again all day long. And they got pressure up the middle. I think that's the biggest thing that you notice is a difference between what the Eagles were able to do and what the Steelers didn't do. All the Steelers' pressure comes off the edge. And the pressure up the middle in Patrick Mahomes' face with a 4-man rush was really effective at getting him off his base and keeping him from throwing. And then those other guys can come around the edge and collect the sacks. That's why you invest in guys like Carter, and guys like Jordan Davis, who are elite interior players. And I think that is why you're going to see the Steelers use their first round pick on a defensive tackle. All right, that's all I got for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode. Be back with me and Smitty for Steelers Afternoon Drive around 6. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, enjoy.